Just 5 weeks to Boston, and I'm back on track. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Running Otaku. I am the Running Otaku, and today is episode 20, Back on Track. So why is it called Back on Track? Well, if you remember from last episode, I injured my right hamstring, and I did what I thought was the right and smart thing to do, which was to take a whole week off. And I did that, and I finally got back into training, and this last week I had a full week of training, which included one long run of 2 hours and 30 minutes, and a bunch of speed stuff as well, and it all went really well. In addition to being back on track, it was my peak week. And what I mean by that was it's the most running I'll do for any week in this training cycle. It totaled just over 9 hours, which was 68 miles and almost exactly 110 kilometers. So I had 3 tough workouts in the last week. The first one was that 2.5 hour long run, and that was over a really hilly course. So up and down hills the whole way. And I maintained a pretty even pace, which is probably about a minute or so slower than my marathon pace in terms of pace per mile. And in kilometers, that's probably about 40 seconds or so per kilometer slower than my marathon pace. In addition to that, I had my second marathon pace tempo run, and that was just over 8 miles, which was this many kilometers. And I meant to run it right at my goal race pace, which is 3 hours for the marathon. But I was wearing the Nike VaporFlies for the very first time. And it turns out, I guess they really work, because my pace was exactly 4% faster than I thought it was going to be. And I ended up running something closer to about 2:53 or so marathon pace, which was great. The problem is I will not be able to sustain that for the full marathon. I did run 4% faster, but I think I probably ran pretty close to 4% harder. So it wasn't free time by any means. The third workout I did had a whole bunch of crazy intervals, fartleks and hill repeats and striders. And the fartlek part was quite interesting. It was actually 18 by 1 minute at my 5K race pace with just a 30-second rest in between. So super tough, but I ran dead even for each of them. It felt great, so I'm really happy with that as well. Okay, so the results are in. In the last video, I asked you for your advice as to what I should do for this upcoming race. You see, I've got a 15K this Sunday, which is exactly 4 weeks before my Boston Marathon. And I was a little bit concerned because my last 15K last month was hilly, and I ended up injuring my hamstring. And of course, this upcoming week is just as hilly, and I was worried about re-injuring it. So I asked you what to do. And if you recall, there were 4 options. The first one was just to race it all out, because maybe that first injury was just a fluke. The second one was just to race the flat and the uphill part, but the downhill, where I think I got injured last time, just to cruise that at marathon pace to get a feel for what it's going to be like, because the Boston Marathon does have a lot of downhill. The third choice was just to jog it, because I already paid for it, so I can't get my money back, so maybe just have it as part of a training run and jog it. And the fourth one is don't get tempted whatsoever and just not even run it, stay away. So I asked all you guys to vote, and here's how the votes tallied up. The first one, just race it all out. None of you suggested that, so I guess I won't be doing that. The second one, which was, again, to just run the uphills hard and the flat parts hard, 2 of you said that might be a good idea, so that was interesting to know. And then the next one, just jog it. Actually, 13 of you said that, either just to jog it really easy or make it part of a longer run and jog it, but at any rate, just jog it. And then skip it completely. 1 of you out there thought that's what I should do. So number 3 was the big winner. So what am I going to do? Well, there's another option that I wasn't even aware of until recently, but this race is called the Shamrock 15K. It takes place in downtown Portland, and it's not just a 15K. You see, there is also there's a 5K, there's an 8K, there's a 15K, and there's a half marathon. And the 15K and half marathon are quite hilly, but the shorter 2 races are dead flat. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the 8K on a totally flat course and see how fast I can run it. And so that brings up the question of the week. how fast do you think I'm going to run the 8K? Go ahead and put your answer below in the comments section, and we'll see who wins. The winner gets, well, nothing. Congratulations, how's that? Congratulations to the winner, whoever guesses the time most closely. Okay, so let me give you just a little bit of data to help you with your guess. I'll talk about my 3 most recent races and 3 recent workouts. So the first of those 3 races was on November 3rd of last year. It was an 8K, so the same distance, but it was on a cross-country course, which was quite hilly with mud and grass and hay barrels to jump over and all that good stuff. And my time was 32 minutes and 8 seconds. And then a month later in December, I had a 5K on the roads, totally flat. And my time there was 18 minutes and 28 seconds. And then just a couple of weeks ago, I did a 15K, very hilly, especially the last 2 miles. And my time there was 1 hour flat and 34 seconds. So that will give you an idea, at least of my race paces. And then for 3 workouts, so on the end of January, I did a 4-mile tempo run, and it was 24 minutes and 31 seconds. So the pacing was 6 minutes and 7 seconds per mile. So pretty quick, and it actually felt comfortable, well, comfortably hard, let's say, maybe an 8 out of 10 on the intensity scale, at least the perceived effort. And then last week, that 8-mile tempo run, it was actually 8.16 miles. I did it in 53 minutes and 54 seconds. So that comes out to 6 minutes and 36 seconds per mile. And that was somewhat hilly, not super hilly, but it did have some hills in it. And it felt pretty hard. I would say maybe about an 8.5 out of 10 for me. And then also that this week I did that 18 by 1 minute fartlek run, and the 1 minutes were done at what I think is pretty close to my 5K race pace, with just a 30-second recovery in between each. And for all 18 intervals, I was almost exact for each one, right at 5 minutes and 45 seconds per mile. And this workout was quite hard for me. It was probably, I would say, a 9.5 out of 10. So that's pretty close to my maximum, I think, at least for doing 18 by 1 minutes. And so that's the data for you. Once again, what is your guess as to how fast I'm going to run this 8K on the weekend? Again, totally flat. Go ahead, put your answers down below, and we'll see who wins. Well, all right, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and click the like button. If you really liked what you saw, then please subscribe. And why don't you hit the bell right next to the subscribe button? That way you'll be instantly notified every time I upload a new video, which will make it really easy for you to follow me on my journey as I try and set a lifetime PR in the marathon at age 48 and go sub-3 at Boston on April 15th. Once again, that's it for this week, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.